Smackdown reaction show. Yes, hi everyone. Sorry, I'm just setting up my stuff in the background and getting my apologies ready. There we go. So yes, you might have noticed that I'd set the live stream up for 11, and I am just under 40 minutes late, basically. So obviously in the last few episodes of doing this, there's been quite a few questions about a certain Mrs. Meta, shall we say. And Mrs. Meta usually goes, I'm having to speak quietly at the minute because she might still be awake. Mrs. Meta usually goes to bed about 11 o'clock. She chose not to go to bed at 11 o'clock this evening. Now, obviously, those of you with wives and partners or husbands, boyfriends, whatever, it's not really the done thing to tell your partner in her own living room to sod off and go away, basically. So, yes, I basically was late because of that, essentially. Anywho, yes, so apologies that the stream is. Apologies that the stream is 40 minutes late, but we'll get through. Yes, just to make you aware, sorry guys, I'm completely disorganised after all that. Yeah, right, cool. Just to make sure, let's try again. Just to make you aware, if I can even get the words out, that this will be on YouTube audio podcast and this will be on YouTube video. So obviously if you've not seen it before, and I always forget to mention this, if you go onto my basically homepage, which you're now watching, it's Geek Boy Does Wrestling, and then it's Geek Boy a Wrestling Story, which is the podcast that this will be made up of, basically. Just to also make you aware as well, for the wrestling people that watch me, you might have noticed there was no AEW this week. There was a whole thing on Thursday, and I couldn't basically go on and do anything, apart from the fact that I hadn't watched AEW at that point. So I'm actually going to run through it tonight, and I'm also going to do a quick preview of Revolution. I've also got Match of the Day in the background. I'm on like an hour's delay, an hour and 20 minutes. I'm just watching the West Ham Man City game. I've just watched the hilarious Jordan Pickford doing his, I don't know whether it was meant to be a Superman impression in the goal against Arsenal this evening. I have no idea what Tiny Arms T-Rex was actually attempting to do in that match. But yes, it was just ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. If you're a football fan, you've not seen it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think so, mate. Yeah, sorry about anyone who's just seen that. There's some complete and utter douchebag who's just been writing something about farts and this, that, and the other. Just, I'm not in the mood. Jog on, sweetheart. Yes. Why was I telling you about Jordan Pickford for? Oh yeah, no. So if you're a wrestling fan and also a football fan, if you haven't seen it, try and see it. Basically, Arsenal have essentially now won the league because Jordan Pickford. Well, not just because Jordan Pickford. Arsenal will be the best team in the league. Let's have it right. But in the 89th minute, I don't know who it was. This Arsenal fella swings the ball in, absolutely no issue whatsoever, and Jordan Pickford basically. I don't even know how he's managed to do what he's done. He's basically come flying out of his goal and tried to punch it, but he's missed the ball by about 5 foot. Completely dived past the goal. And Jokeres has just gone, oh, cheers, mate, nice one, and just tapped it into an empty net. I mean, yeah, it was abysmal. Anyway, so, yes, basically, I'm watching Match of the Day now, is what I'm saying, basically. Right. Shall we actually talk about wrestling an hour later? First of all, most of you know that I usually do this with water. It's been a very trying week this week, so I'm going to be completely honest. Tonight, I'm doing it with Mr. Peroni. So, cheers. Saturday night. I've got a cooler next to me as well. Yeah, it's always it's always really, really good to have a cold beer on a Saturday night. That's what I say. Anyway, right. So in terms of the actual wrestling, 5 minutes later. So I'll start with Smackdown, like I said, I'm going to go for AEW a little bit as well. Um, yeah, we started off this weird little segment where Drew McIntyre quit, but then he didn't quit. Basically, um, he basically went on this rant, was calling Nick Aldis all sorts, idiot and this, that, and the other. Hey, Isabella, how you doing? You all right? How are you? Hope you're all right. Um, yeah, and he was calling him idiot and saying the decision to give Cody the match from last week when he lost the title was bullshit and all this business. And Aldis and McIntyre were literally going head to head, like proper, like. I thought they were going to have a fight, not a shoot fight, obviously, but I thought they were actually going to have a fight in the end. Anyway, before they could get into it, Jacob Fatu comes out, basically challenges Drew, and says, "What are you going to do about it?" to him, and Drew McIntyre basically says, "I'll tell you what I'm going to do." That was my really crap Scottish accent, by the way. Apologies to any Scots watching; that was terrible. And he basically turns around and goes, "I quit," and then just walks off. And everyone in the arena was like, "Wait, what?" And he actually did like I don't want to do the swearing, but the American thing with the elbow, which we don't really do in this country. It's not really a thing. And yeah, Drew McIntyre has quit WWE apparently. Although he quit for all of an hour basically. But I'll get into that in a minute. Zdits, how you doing, Zdits? You all right? Happy Saturday. Cheers. I'm gonna be honest, folks. I'm gonna have a fair few of these while I'm on. Not as in drunk, but it's been a long week. I'm gonna chill out tonight. Got football on the background. I'm gonna talk a bit of wrestling. I'm gonna drink a few beers, basically. Um, basically Stone Cold Steve Austin drinking. Let's have a look. Aren't you and old for WWE? Anyway, right. So yeah, basically Drew McIntyre. Sorry, I'm not. I don't know how to respond to that, to be honest. Yeah, so Drew buggers off basically, and when I was doing my research, folks, earlier, because I was sat watching it with my lad, and we basically, long story short, most people know subscribe. Me and my little boy who also watches wrestling. Um, I usually watch it with him, but then do my research so I can talk about it later on in the night. I did do the research, but we didn't start watching it until some stupid time, like 2 o'clock this afternoon. So, long story short, all my notes were in an absolute bloody mess, basically. So, I'm not sure if I've got the match sequence correct, so I apologise if I've not. Um, we had the MFTs versus the Wyatt family. I would. I like the Wyatt family. Don't get me wrong, really do. Shout out Bray Wyatt. We still miss you, mate. If you're an MFT fan, and I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before, and I'm really sorry if you are, it's not for me at all. I've gone on about this for weeks and weeks and weeks. I have no hatred towards any of the wrestlers. They're all very, very good wrestlers, but the group as it's set up is not for me at all. I would like the MFTs to basically, how does one put this? I'd like them to go away as quickly as possible, basically. So, yes, with that being said, I was delighted to hear that the MFTs and the Wyatt family were having yet another variation of yet another match, which they must have done. I dread to think how many times they've fought now. I mean, you're talking, it must be 7 or 8 times in the last 3 or 4 weeks alone. I mean, yeah, I know obviously they're both big factions and they're trying to get both groups over, but it's just not working for me, to be honest. I think the Wyatt family, they need a big feud with a big name, like a big singles wrestler. Like, I'm not suggesting CM Punk, but maybe if you had Uncle Howdy going up, well, yeah, maybe if you had Uncle Howdy as a single, going up against the likes of Punk, the likes of Roman, the likes of Cody, then it legitimizes Uncle Howdy as a serious threat a bit more, and then you can have the Wyatts come in and like play spooky tricks on whoever the big guy is that they're facing, basically. Um, but at the moment, it's just anyway, it's just not for me. And in any case, um, I also want to know what's going on with Tamatonga and this whole thing with Shinsuke Nakamura, because obviously they've been opponents. I think it's possibly in New Japan, I don't know, but there seemed to be something really weird going on with him in terms of the lantern, and also they seem to they're trying to separate him from the rest of the group. Obviously, they've given him quite a few wins recently with Nakamura. Who did he beat? Nakamura. I think he beat Dragunov a couple of weeks back, something like that. Hey, Damien Castillo. How you doing, Damien? You all right? Nice to see you again, mate. Hope you're well. Anyway, long story short, it wasn't for me. So I would like that to end, basically. We had an angle next with, like I said, I apologise if I've got the sequencing wrong, but Trick Williams and Jacob Fatu got into it basically in the back of the arena. Nick Aldis just happened to be walking by, as you do, and then basically said that later on in the night, Aldis and Trick Williams are going to be wrestling. By the way, I'll get to it as well. Obviously, it was a bloody fantastic match. So yeah, there we go. Hey Finn, how you doing, mate? You all right? Finn, I haven't made that wrestling video yet. Just to make you aware. But yeah, like I said, dude, uh, in that message I sent to you. So, like I said, the plan is, in fact, I'll tell all you guys to be honest. My good friend Finn, who you can see messaging me here. Yes, hello, Dad. Randy Heel. Yeah, I'm going to talk about him as well, dude. Finn was asking me, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, if I can do a couple of wrestling videos, because as one or two of you know, I collect action figures, basically. Long story short, I have a command centre upstairs, which is just a posh way of calling something a third bedroom with loads of lads' toys upstairs, basically. Anyway, long story short, I'm actually going to be gutting out that room when my lad and my missus head off on holiday, and I'm left unsupervised for a week, which should be good. Anyway, I'm kind of going to nick an idea from one of my good friends on here, and he'll know who he is, basically. But he's another guy that you know. I won't shout his name out, but he tends to do a lot of woodwork videos and film himself doing it whilst he's answering questions and talking to people. And while I was watching one of his videos, I suddenly thought, do you know what? That's an interesting thing there. I was like, I need to gut out the command centre, because basically I say gut it out, I did. Long story short, I've got like you'll see when I do it, but basically in the third bedroom or command centre, there's a Liverpool section, there's a Star Wars section, there's like a comic book section with like horror sort of books like The Shining and stuff like that. There's my glass cabinet action figures collectibles, so the standalone ones, not in packages. Next to that, there's all my things in packages, so WWE figures, AEW, NECA figures, horror figures, Marvel, DC. I've got some anime figures there as well, Evil Dead, etc., etc. I've got another case next to that, which is all like horror, so Ash versus Evil Dead, Leatherface, Friday the 13th, Halloween, etc., etc., and so on and so on and so on. Long story short, it's getting on my nerves because I've got too much shit in there, basically. Was the reason I'm telling you that story. So my plan is, long story short, I'm going to basically do a live reaction. I'm basically going to do a live video of me chatting away, showing you guys some stuff that I've got, and then separating them in stuff for like charity shops, stuff that I may or may not sell on eBay potentially, and so on and so forth. Stuff I'm going to keep, and basically I'm going to move everything around and try and basically I'm going to try and make a Liverpool section and a pro wrestling section, basically, with like miscellaneous bits in the middle, essentially. Why? I don't know if anyone's been watching Match of the Day. Why are the Chelsea players surrounding the referee for? That's the most random thing I've ever seen. Has anyone seen Match of the Day tonight? Because I'm like I said, I'm watching it like in an hour delay. Paul Tierney, the referee, the Chelsea players have just done a huddle around the ref. Jesus, what was in that? It can't be that. I've only just had a little couple of sips now. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, folks. So Finn, like I said, that's what I'm going to do. And the other thing I was going to do, you were saying about the wrestling figures. I'm basically going to create a section where you've got the all the boxed figures. I'm going to put them on like a stand, essentially. What on earth is that? I've just seen Anthony Gordon's goal. I mean, sorry, folks. I'm going to get back to this in a minute. I'm just watching this Anthony Gordon. I mean, what on earth they're doing? The bloke's just run straight past it. He nearly missed it as well. Anyway, yes, so basically, yes, long story short, I'm going to be doing that at some point, so that's going to be in sort of the first week of April, so keep an eye out for the channel for that. But yes, Finn, there are going to be a lot of changes, and you will see some wrestling figures and probably some videos that spin out of that, basically, long story short. Let me have a look. How was a better heel, John's? Oh, who was a better heel? John Cena or Roman Reigns? Oh, Damien, I reckon Roman Reigns for me. Just for the fact, obviously, we've got more of a body of evidence with Roman's heel work, especially with that. And I thought his work that he did with Heyman at the start of COVID, because when him and Heyman first got together, I think he beat Bray Wyatt actually for the title as well. God bless Bray Wyatt. And when I saw Heyman and Roman together, I was I mean, no offense to either of them, but I was just like, I'm not sure about this. Is that going to work? Well, I mean, how stupid do I look now? It was one of the greatest partnerships that you've ever seen in the business. It was fantastic. Cena's heel run. Do you know what? If he was going to do it properly, it's not me having a go at John. I think if they were fully going to do the John Cena retirement tour, and I know this would have been a bit random. Hello, yeah, yes, well done, Arsenal. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. I know this is a bit random, but it could have done with being 2 years, because Cena's heel run. I mean, when did it start? What, the night of the Elimination Chamber, and then it stopped at SummerSlam, was it, I think? Yes, Arsenal, yes, congratulations, yeah, congratulations. You might as well just have the title now and have done with it, to be honest. I mean, the league's done. Everything's done now as far as I'm concerned, more or less. But yeah, the Cena thing, I just think, to be honest, excuse me, I just think, Damien, with Cena, if they were going to do proper heel, and I appreciate he was heel for, 4 months, 4 months isn't long enough. It needed to be, I'd say 10 months to a year, to be honest, so you've got a good sample size. And I know Cena wasn't available for all that time. I do get that and I understand that. But like, look, it was a great moment when he obviously kicked Cody in the balls. Not so much for Cody, because I could imagine that would have hurt. And yeah, no, it's still one of the most shocking things that I've ever seen in a pro wrestling. It wasn't people trying to say it was like the Hogan turn when the NWO was formed. Because I was around for that. I very politely disagree. Not for me. Don't get me wrong, it was one of the biggest heel turns of all time, and it was incredibly well done. I'm not sure about Travis Scott being involved. Sorry, I'm not one of the young people. So if you're one of the young people who like Travis Scott, I do apologise. I didn't know who he was, to be honest, when he first came waltzing out, and he had like this vape machine, and he was like doing all this with. I don't even know what it was. It was like it was like that thing for older wrestling fans that you might get what I'm on about. It was like that thing that Papa Shango used to have when he came out. You know, when he had that whole African sort of vibe and look, and he had like this skull thing, and it used to have all this smoke coming out. It looked like something like that, and everyone was like, "Oh, Travis Scott," and I'm sat there with the boys going, "Who is this man?" And they're all just like, "Dude, you are so old." And I was just like, "What is he an actor?" It was literally like, "Well, what is he an actor?" And people were looking like, "An actor? He's one of the biggest hip hop stars in the world." And I was like, "That's hip hop." It's like, no. I listen to Nas and Jay-Z and Biggie Smalls, and Mobb Deep, and Rex and Effect and people like that, and Wu-Tang Clan when they all first, and Ice-T and Ice Cube when they all first came out. That was hip hop. What he was singing was an absolute pile of shit, basically. So yes, there we go. But yes, David, I hope that answers your question. Like I said, I enjoyed seeing his heel run, but it just wasn't long enough for me. I just thought that Romans, obviously with the bloodline, was really, really good. But yeah, there we go. Let me just run through SmackDown a little bit quicker. We had a match with Michin versus Jade Cargill. I mean, Jesus Christ, my goodness, my goodness. Again, similar to the MFTs, folks, if there are any Meechin fans out there for some inexplicable reason, I don't wish to be rude, but yeah, her and BFAB, yeah, it's probably best that I don't say too much because I don't want to. Look, all of these guys and girls work really hard. They're all supremely talented athletes, and they do a hell of a lot. You know what I mean? I could never do anything like they do at the end of the day. But there are some who are good, and there are some who are not so good. And yes. Anyhow, moving swiftly on. So after that, basically, Meechin got her ass kicked by Jay Cargill. Cargill was giving it the big ones to Rhea Ripley. Rhea comes out and basically calls her a something rhyming with rich, which I'm a gentleman, so I'm not going to repeat that word. But obviously, if you're a lady, you know what the word is, and I don't make offensive commentary about women. So, but yes, I will leave that for your imaginations. Let's have a look. Yeah, there was this whole weird thing with Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn, and I don't understand what. I mean, what we do? What is Sami Zayn turned insane? That rhymed, by the way. Insane in the membrane. Does anyone remember that, by the way? Cypress Hill. They were another band. Yeah, I can't work out the Sami Zayn. I don't know what the end game is. I mean, it's kind of intriguing, but also kind of annoying because it's making Sammy come across as a bit of a dick, to be honest. Quite honestly, excuse my language, but I don't. Why is he just hanging out backstage and cryptically congratulating people? I don't. I don't know what we're doing, and now obviously with the Orton heel turn, it makes even less sense unless Zayn's going to join Orton. Hang on, folks. Just bear me a second. Wow. Wow. At 7915. And I could only just tell that you're a fawning little virgin, sweetheart. Bye. I'm going to swear, folks. To be honest, I don't usually swear. I don't know who on earth that little wanker was, but the name suits him well because he's obviously never had a girlfriend. He'll never have one. Yeah, no, sorry if you. I'm from the 90s. If you chat shit about me, you get fucking burnt. Simple as that. Excuse my language. Again, I do apologise. I'm going to read your comments, folks. Actually, to be honest, that's really just got on my nerves. Like, who do you think you are, sweetheart? Do one. No, not enough of wrestling chat yet. This is what the stream's about. We have football to discuss. My boy Bowden and how brilliant was West Ham and their goalie. And the hell is going on with the excessive extra time? Well, yeah. I've just been watching it. Yeah, actually. I've just finished watching the Newcastle match as well. Fair play to their goalie; they did really, really well. Chelsea are getting booed. I can hear it from here actually, because I've only got it on low because obviously I can't be having match of the day commentary coming on my stream because then match of the day would get very angry and so would YouTube and so on and so forth. And then Virgin Boy, whoever he was, would be sat there pissing his pants in his mum's bedroom or whatever the case may be. Yeah, no, it's done. Yeah, it's done. It's done. The league is done. Look, to be honest, yeah. You are in the realms that it's not me trying to wind Arsenal fans up at all. I think the league is done legitimately, and it's not me trying to be a wind-up merchant. If Arsenal don't win the league from this position, I mean, literally off the top of my head, I think Arsenal have got 8 games left. I think they've got 9. Man City have got 9 games left. There's what a 9-point gap at the minute. Sorry, I'm trying to add maths up in my head while I'm doing last year. I got an F at maths basically at GCSEs. I am shit at maths. So you're talking what a 9-point lead. You've still got to play them. I don't think Man City will lay a glove on Arsenal. To be honest, I really, really don't. But even let's say for argument's sake, even if Arsenal lost that match, okay, let's drop it down 6 points. That's their game in hand. So Arsenal would have to. I mean, you're at the stage you would have to lose approximately 4 or 5 matches out of the last 8, and this is all Man City also having to win all their matches. I just don't think they'll win all their matches. To be, in fact, I'm starting to think Man United might overtake Man City. Just purely for the fact 1 or 2 of them players are going to be like, well, especially like if they go out the Champions League, which, I mean, overturning 3-0 loss to Madrid is going to be tough. I mean, I don't think Real Madrid are particularly good, actually, this season at all. But they've still got to overturn a 3-0 deficit to Real Madrid. I don't think Man City have got hope in hell. And then you've got to think maybe Pep Guardiola just prioritises the FA Cup, which, fortunately for him, he's got a really, really, really... I was going to say inconsiderate, but... not consistent football team who's going to be visiting his stadium next month, sadly, unfortunately, who has a terrible record at the Etihad. So, yeah. No, I think it's done, yeah. I just don't... put it this way, if Arsenal from this position won nothing, which is not going to happen, obviously. I think they'll win the League Cup next week, to be honest. But... if they won nothing from this position, bearing in mind you're basically in 2 quarterfinals, you're in 1 final and you're 9 points clear at the top of the league. I mean, Arteta's arse is out, if you pardon the expression. I don't think he would be able to stay because you would have to be talking of the only collapse I can think at this stage of the season that would be anywhere near remotely was when I think Man City, funnily enough, it was Man City again. They went 8 points behind Man United. This is the year that they won the first won the title. So you talk, whatever it was, 2011, 12, I forget. But I think they lost 2-0 to Arsenal at the Emirates. And Man United went 8 clear, and then they ended up losing about 4 out of their last 7 matches or something. And City obviously scored that winning goal from Aguero and this, that, and the other. It's going to take something like that. And you look at Arsenal's fixtures. I mean, they've virtually got no one else left to play, really. I mean, obviously they've done Anfield, done Stamford Bridge. North London derbies are out of the way and they're pissed all over Tottenham, basically. Done St James's, done Old Trafford at the start of the season. Have they done Villa Park? Yeah, they lost. I think that Villa and Anfield losses are the only ones that they've had in like the last, 8 months? I think Arsenal have only lost 3 matches the entire season. Yeah, long story short, it's done. It's absolutely done. There's no chance Arsenal are not winning that league. But as I say, if for some reason they did, and if Arsenal won nothing this season, um, I don't think he would be able to survive that. Yeah, to be honest, I really don't. But look, it's not going to happen. I would, if put it this way, if there was a bet on Arsenal winning nothing this season, and I walk past a window now, like a bookie's window, and it was something ridiculous like 5,000 to 1, I'd go and stick a fiver on it. Because I mean, the money you would make off down out at this stage, I mean, you would be collecting a bloody small fortune, but it ain't going to happen, basically. Don't forget about Dre and Pac. Oh yeah, no, yeah, literally like Tupac was Tupac was one of my heroes. Yeah, I remember again because I'm a very old man, as you can see by the beard. I remember the night that Tupac died. September the 13th, 1996. Because we'd heard a week before that he'd been shot, but it wasn't like social media now. Literally, I didn't hear anything until funnily enough, the Tim Westwood show. Well, look how he turned out to be. Little paedophile. Anyway, yeah, and I had to wait for Westwood to announce it because there were no hip hop channels or anything back in the day. You had your underground scene if you lived in London or something like that. But I lived in Derby. I mean, you had Vibe and the Source magazine and things like that. But literally, if you wanted hip hop, we had one little store in Derby that specialised in hip hop, but like they were in the same boat as us, unless you could get Hot 97. With Funkmaster Flex and people like that. God, this is how old I am, by the way. Yeah. And yeah, I can remember when Pat died, and it was awful. It was absolutely awful. In fact, shout out to Tupac. Bloody good beer, that is. I'm going to have another in a second, I think. Let's have a look. Hello, yeah. Jurassic 5. Oh, yeah, Jurassic 5. They were awesome. They were awesome. All right, my man. How you doing, Chris Strachan? From Celtic. Well, it's a very Celtic name. Oh, excuse me, folks. Sorry. Oh, I think I picked some cold from somewhere. Yes, it's a very Celtic name, Chris Strachan. And he was a very, very good footballer as well. Very, very good footballer. Let's have a look. 9 points. C Messi, you know. Yes, absolutely. He will be gone. Yeah, no, I do. I don't think he'd be able to stay here at all. Again, it's not me like being a wind-up merchant of Arsenal fans, but practicality wise, there is no way you would be able to stay on if you lost the title from there. I mean, it would be. I can't think. Like I said, the only other time I could think of losing. I remember when Newcastle lost their 12-point lead, but they started losing theirs with Kevin Keegan in 95, 96, I think it was. They started losing their lead from January. I mean, this would be losing the league after the international break in the first week of April, with 6 weeks to go. I mean, yeah, no, it would be an unmitigated disaster. And I mean, say if Arsenal, for some reason, say if Arsenal lost the league but then won the European Cup the week afterwards, then I think Arsenal fans would probably grudgingly be like, go on then. But people would still be like, I'm not sure about losing the league with like a 9-point lead with 8 games to go. But yeah, no, they'll be fine. They'll be absolutely fine. There's not a chance that Arsenal are not winning the league this season. No chance whatsoever. There we go. Martin O'Neill. Yes, Chris, what a manager. I absolutely love Martin O'Neill. Absolutely love him, Chris. Do you know what? He's just genuinely. I know it sounds really awful. I'm not being disrespectful to Martin. I think he's a really funny bloke. He's a proper nice bloke as well. Do you know what? and as well, because I've not seen him in real life, but I've heard him speak in real life, kind of thing. I can't remember where it was. I think he was doing a speaking thing or something like. Do you know what? What a really, really nice man as well. Loved, absolute gentleman that man is. Um, and yeah, I've always enjoyed the football. Do you know what? One of the best teams, not as in best Premier League teams of all time or anything, but one of the most hard-working teams built from basically nothing was the Leicester City team under Martin O'Neill that won the League Cup. So they came up in, I want to say they got to the Premier League in '97. Did they win one League Cup or two League Cups? I think it was the one League Cup because they lost to Tottenham one of the years. Um, and yeah, that was the Leicester team where you had Matt Elliott, who I used to love. I thought Matt Elliott was an absolute class centre back. Obviously, Emil Heskey, he was boss. Neil Lennon, obviously Celtic legend. Muzzy is it. I tell you what, Muzzy is it. He was a right player, absolutely right player. He was. Yeah, and obviously Martin then went to Celtic. Obviously, he's come back now, and he's just a gentleman. Lot of time for Martin O'Neill. Lovely, lovely man. Cardi, how you doing, Cardi? You're all right. Happy Saturday. Tim West was an Arsenal fan. Yes, yes. Um, I feel very embarrassed having to admit this. By the way, folks, for the wrestling bit, I will get back onto it in a minute, but I'm just chatting away with people at the second. I feel very embarrassed to say that I was a Tim Westwood fan. Yeah, to be honest, watched, not watched. So Saturday nights, I'm trying to remember when did Westwood come on. I want to say he was on at 9 o'clock till 11:30 or 12. And then for those of you who are really old like me, Westwood would basically tag in a DJ called Chris Goldfinger, who did the BBC One reggae show, and it was like a dance hall tunes and like not Sean Paul because he'd not got Sean Paul just yet, but there was they used to play like Beanie Man and stuff like that, as in Zin Zimmer, who got the keys to my beamer? Who am I? That was my really crappy Beanie Man impression. You know the one I'm on about. Yeah, and I would basically sit there back in the day, and again the kids won't understand this, but kids, mom and dad, as in your mom and dad, used to have these things called cassette tapes, and they used to sit in something called a ghetto blaster. And what you would do is you would turn your radio on, you tune it in, and you get your cassette tapes. Think of it like saving a favourite on YouTube now, if you want a sort of equivalent. You would actually physically press record on this ghetto blaster and record the songs. And as most people know who are my age are, you would go mental if the DJ at the end, all they have to do is shut up for the last 30 seconds, play the rest of the song, job done, there we go. And guaranteed every single time the DJ of whatever show you were listening to would start talking over it with 30 seconds to go, and you were just like, you basically. So yes, that's how your parents used to do it back in the day. And if you're really, really old, don't even ask about vinyl, because that's a whole other thing entirely. God bless vinyl. Yeah. Vinyl was the way to go. I'm glad it's coming back in, actually. It was very cool. Like, I wasn't oh, what is this? That's Sunderland scoring against Brighton. I thought Brighton beat Sunderland. Brighton did beat Sunderland. So why is decision offside no goal? I hate VAR. I'm not even going to describe that. Not even describe it. Utter and complete nonsense. Um, but yes, long story short, basically, I used to listen to Westwood. I mean, must have listened to him for. When did I start listening to hip hop? I started listening to hip hop about '93, so I got into like. I first got into hip hop through Ice-T and NWA, all that business, and then Warren G, and like, I was very much like West Coast, East Coast. Again, kids, if you haven't got a clue what I'm on about, basically back in the day there was a whole East Coast of America, so obviously New York's and so on and so forth, and then you'd have the West Coast, which is obviously Cali, Los Angeles, and so on and so forth. And there was this thing called the East Coast West Coast War, which for those of you who are wrestling fans, if you basically think Monday Nitro versus Monday Night Raw, as in the Monday Night Wars Attitude Era, basically we had that with what sort of goal is that? I've just seen the Brighton goal. Wow, that's the worst goal I've ever seen. If you've seen Brighton's winning goal against Sunderland, let me know. That was actually legitimately very funny. How is that? How? Yeah. Anyway, long story short. So the point is, folks, I would listen to Westwood and tape all the stuff, and that's how I got to know like Nas. That's how I got to know obviously Jay-Z, Wu-Tang Clan, Mobb Deep. The first time I actually heard Eminem, funnily enough, was Westwood, because everyone in the country in like I don't know 1999 was saying, "Oh, Eminem, this, that, and the other," and it's like, yeah, I heard Eminem about a year ago, because obviously they would have shows that they would play on Westwood of like acts in Detroit and stuff like that, and they'd send people out there literally just to record it. So I'd actually heard of them like a year before when he used to do songs with I think it was Royce to 5'9". And yeah, that's where a lot of my hip hop knowledge came from. Little did I know that he was busily abusing women, young girls, depending on who you speak to, underage girls. Yeah, and he's an animal, and again, I'm going to swear, a huge fucking twat, basically. So yeah, I'm sorry that I listened to him, but obviously none of us knew back in the day. Yeah, what can you do? Mr. I remember recording on my Westwood shows on a Friday and Saturday. Yes, no, I did exactly the same thing. Yeah, I did exactly the same thing. Do you know what, actually? Hey, Ibby Khan, how you doing? You all right? What was I gonna say? 2 points behind Hearts. Yes, Chris, I know it's getting hot there now, isn't it? So I'm just if you wonder what I'm doing, folks, I'm trying to be artful, but also pour myself a beer in a glass. Which I was trying to do very discreetly, and I think you can actually see the bottle in the stream. There we go. Right, I've got my second one. Yeah, no, that Scottish, the Scottish race, Chris, is fascinating, to be honest. Because obviously, as a Celtic fan, I'm sure you would rather not be going through this, but I'm trying to think of a polite way of saying this. It's nice to see a race in Scotland for once, because obviously Celtic are just that good. I mean, there was one season in the last 10 or 12 years now, I forget which season, obviously you know better than me, where the league that Celtic were in at the time, they basically won it in November. And I remember listening on Five Live at the time. I was like, "What the hell are you on about? You can't win a league in November." But it was some absurd amount of points that like Celtic were ahead, and it was something ridiculous. Like they were about 27 points clear, like the week before Christmas. And I was like, "Well, that can't be right." Sure, I don't know what season it was. It might not have been 27, but it was a shit pile of bloody points basically. And I looked on the league. When you've got the league tapes, and I was like, "Oh, bugger me! It's like 23 points. They literally need about another 10 wins from like the next 5.5 months to win the title." I was like, how is that even a thing? That's ridiculous. But yeah, no, it's nice to see a bit of a race basically, because, well, you've got more of a race than we have in England. I mean, basically, we're in the same situation in England that we were last year, pretty much. I mean, I'd say the relegation is done, other than your last place, which I am starting to severely think. I think it could be Tottenham, you know. I'm going to look very stupid tomorrow. I know I've just said that. Why did I just say that for? If you're wondering why I'm cursing myself, yeah, we're playing Tottenham tomorrow. Yes, so as Danhausen would say, you are cursed. We are definitely cursed now, I've just said that. Yeah, I mean, basically in the Premier League, I mean, so you're talking there's one relegation place realistically left. I mean, I suppose the Europa League, Conference League, seventh place might be interesting if you. I mean, it's not me being disrespectful, but obviously, if you're a club like Brentford, getting into Europe is a massive thing, and if Brentford get into Europe, congratulations to them. I think they deserve it. I think Brentford are a hell of a football club. I think they've played some very entertaining football this season, specifically against us, sadly. Um, Obviously, Arsenal won the league. Let's have it right. Man City are miles ahead in second place. So, unfortunately, the only bit of entertainment that is likely to be taken for the rest of the season sadly involves the football club who I've just shown you, which is my football club, which means on the last day of the season, no doubt it will be Liverpool versus Brentford in some nerve shredding, bloody last minute 30-yard out hit and hope to get us into the Champions League, or the way we're playing at the moment, it might be the Conference League bloody playoff, to be honest. But yeah, we shall see. We shall see. We are winning it. That is it. If I've jinxed myself now, I will burn my 94 sign shirt. No, like I said, yeah, don't win. You will definitely win it. Like, I put it this way: you're in the realms of Arsenal now, with so few games left. Because I mean, let's have it right. It's not like it's 15 games yet. Arsenal have got 8 games. Man City have got 9. You are in the realms of Arsenal, because I think their goal difference is better as well. You're talking Arsenal could theoretically get away at a push with losing 3 matches and still win the league, providing one of the losses wasn't against Man City. If they get through that Man City game with, as long as they don't lose that match, Arsenal could get away with losing 3 games. And I think Arsenal will win all 8 games. Like I said, I think they'll go to the Etihad and absolutely annihilate City. Because, look, let's have it right. You've got to be honest and call a spade first. Arsenal are the best team in the country. Simple as that. Not really any debate. We were the best team in the country last year. And everyone was like, oh, we'll pull out the base. Like, shut up. We were quite clearly the best side last season. It's not even a. I wouldn't even have entertained having an argument about that with anyone. And you've got to call spade, and Arsenal are the best team this year. Simple as that, and they deserve to win. Congratulations to them. Celtic beating Liverpool, and Blackpool European Cup. We got to the finals. Absolutely, dude. Yes, absolutely. Yes, no, I've been told all about Celtic's history. Many years ago by my old fella who's no longer with us. Shout out to him. Yeah, no, we used to have what was I trying to say? Yeah, Chris, we used to have my old fella used to have VHSs that you used to have in the 80s and 90s. He used to have a Celtic one actually, because he used to put it on for me period. He had a Pele one. He had Liverpool in the 70s and 80s, and he used to have like a Celtic one, and it was like I forget what it was, 1962 to 1987, randomly, that he picked up from some warehouse from somewhere, and he used to periodically put it on. So funnily enough, I have seen quite a few of that, those bits and pieces as well. So yeah, there we go. I'm in Mushin at the moment. Watch Bayern live at Alliance. Do not underestimate Leverkusen. Oh, very cool. Yeah, very cool. I might have had a good time. What, pray tell, was Luis Diaz doing this afternoon then? And also, why is Luis Diaz now being sent off? I don't think he even got a booking at Liverpool. And you think he's been sent off about 3 times since he's played for Bayern. And Luis Diaz, he's got a bit of spiky side to him, but he's not like a. I can't remember him having a dust up with anyone, to be honest, while he was over. And I think he's been sent off about 3 times now. But no, like I said, yeah, the other day, I definitely want to go to the Alliance Arena at some point. Definitely. And I want to go to the Yellow Wall as well. I saw that I missed my St. Pauli as well last night. I was gutted about it because obviously you saw I was doing that live stream for one of my mates last night. Thank you for everyone who watched that, by the way. It was really cool. But I got an alert halfway through. You know when it pops up on your phone when you're watching something else, and it said, I think it said something along the lines of, I forget who they were playing, but was it Hoffenheim? I don't know who it was, but let's say for example it was Hoffenheim versus St. Pauli. Second half starts now, and I was like, oh. Do you know what? I would have liked to have watched that actually. But yes, sadly I did not get to watch it. Excuse me again, folks. Honestly. I know what you were on about, Matt. I know people from the music business, and he said he was weird. His banter was yeah, no, Chris, I do agree with that because, like, obviously there was always that. Oh, in the PC world we live in now, how can I explain this story? So, in the late 90s and the early 2000s, there was this rather impolite suggestion that Tim Westwood was a very good DJ and he could also do a very good line in voiceovers, given the fact that his usual English speaking voice did not appear to correspond with his voice, that he may have amplified into sounding like the voice of a black American rapper. In other words, he was making his voice sound like a black man's from like America, for want of a better phrase. Yeah, and we used to have quite a few people doing that. I don't know about the rest of the country, but it was a bit weird actually because I used to live in Derby. And I don't know why, but some people, there were quite a few people who used to do that in my 90s generation. That's why I always say the 90s generation were, not all of them, because I include myself in that. There were some very cool people in the 90s, but there were also a lot of people in the 90s who were complete fawning dickheads, basically. And Westwood was one of them. But anyway, there were a lot of people who used to do this throwing their voice thing, and this just white people, black people, Asian people, men, women, whatever it was, and maybe it's because I was the geek who wasn't part of anything at the time, but I never understood that. I'm like, dude, why are you throwing your voice? Like, if people don't like my voice, look, I sound like Jack Grealish after I've had a couple of pints of lager, you know what I mean? But that's my voice, as Star-Lord would say. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking to you about, but why am I telling you about voice throwing for? Let's get back on topic anyway. But yes, no, I agree, Chris. And yeah, he was full of shit, wasn't he? Just full of shit. Old school, Elijah. How many are Liverpool winning by tomorrow? Answer me, mate. Oh, sorry, Elijah. I'm miles off, mate. How many are Liverpool winning tomorrow, Elijah? Well, Elijah, let me put it this way. Liverpool will not be winning. Liverpool will lose that match tomorrow. Anyway, moving swiftly on. No, I'm only half joking, Elijah. How many are Liverpool winning by, Elijah? To be honest, I would, if someone offered me a 2-1 now, look, and said literally, God descends from the heavens and basically says, I can guarantee you that Liverpool win 2-1 tomorrow. Shake on it and rip his hand off. 2-1's fine. I'm not interested in Liverpool, like, because I've heard Liverpool fans again, Elijah, like doing this ridiculous thing that a lot of us do sometimes, where it's just like, I heard someone today on social media. I don't know what platform I was on. It might have been Threads or something, where they were literally saying things along the lines of, I hope after the fifth goal I can leave on the 75th so that I can get to the car park before everyone else. And this wasn't Mickey taking, this was actually being serious. I'm like, guys, look, I know Spurs have got 14 players out injured, but Liverpool this season, and I know the lads are trying their best, and I get that and I understand that, and that's fine. I don't mean to have a go at them, and like again, I would just point out what they've been through this year with Diogo. You do still need to remember that all the time, and what the lads have been through is appalling. But in terms of football, Elijah, Liverpool Football Club are not reliable. Do I think it's going to be 5 or 6? I don't think it's all. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 0-0 going into the second half. I wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham score first at all. I'd like to hope if we keep Solanke quiet, then we're pretty much home and hosed. But I don't see it being a thrashing, Elijah. Put it that way. I really, really don't, mate. Yeah, 2-1, 3-1. As long as we win tomorrow, because obviously Newcastle have done the business for us tonight. Again, that was the other match, by the way, the Chelsea game. The Villa are playing Man United, so one of them's going to drop points. Like, I'm not interested in cricket scores. If Liverpool go and win 2-0, fine. Just get the 3 point. At this stage, look, the good thing is, Elijah, to be honest, we have played shit all season, more or less, other than a couple of matches here and there. At this stage now, it's not about performances anymore. Anyway, Liverpool just need to go and get. I mean, we've got what, 9 games. I mean, with how inconsistent everyone is and the run that Chelsea have got, because Chelsea's fixture list is horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Man United at home, Man City at home, us away, Paris Saint-Germain at home, Everton away. Have they played Arsenal twice, I think? Oh, yeah, Arsenal beat them the other day. The point is, like, their fixture list is horrendous. The Villa just seem to be sinking like a bloody stone. So I think we could potentially get away with winning 5 out of 8 to get into the Champions League. That would get us on around 64-ish points. It'd be very, very tight, but I reckon 5 might do it. I think 6 probably does it. I'm not going to say the next number because I know what someone's going to say, by the way. Do you know what? I think if we got 5 or 6 wins, I think that's probably going to do us. But I mean, again, it's all good me sat here now, my arse saying, "Oh, we only need 5 or 6 wins." I mean, I wouldn't to be honest, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Liverpool lost that game tomorrow, just because I genuinely I have no faith about their consistency. But then again, it wouldn't surprise me if after the international break we went and won at the Etihad, which is a stupid thing because I mean our record there is about as good as reforms in Gorton and Denton. Sorry. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Would not surprise me at all. Wouldn't surprise me if we beat Chelsea and Aston Villa. But then it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if we lost to Brentford at home on the last day of the season. Who knows? I have no idea what Liverpool's going to turn up tomorrow. I hope that answers your question, Elijah. I remember the shock of seeing what he looks like 2 years. Yep, absolutely. Not what I expected, but VAR ruined Arsenal's penalty. Yeah, Arsenal's penalty. Did Arsenal get a penalty today? Have I missed something? Oh, unless you're on about the Leverkusen thing. If you are on about the Leverkusen thing, yeah, no, me and discussed that the other day. I can see why it was given now, but like I said, I said this to you the other day, I would be fuming if I was a Bayer Leverkusen fan. I would literally be like, what is that for? You know what I mean? But anyway, swig of beer for the working man. Puff Diddy, yeah. Don't get me started on him, Chris. Don't get me started on him. So, in fact, you've done it now, Chris. I've hated that bloke since '95 because at that time there were rumours when Tupac first got shot, because I was a massive Tupac fan. I still am now, obviously. Like, got all his albums. In fact, have I got any of his albums around? Sorry, folks, that's really weird. I think my vaunted lovely wife has moved all our CD albums, and I have literally only just noticed that they're not there anymore. God, all right. Something else I shall have to ask the wife about tomorrow. But yes, I have literally about 8 or Tupac's albums somewhere in the house where wife's moved them to. I'm sure there's a fascinating reason why they've been moved, but anyway. But yeah, long story short, when Tupac got shot in '95, I want to say, it's before he went on his trial, and he got shot in a hotel lobby. But the hotel lobby that he got shot at, the rumor at the time was, well, it wasn't a rumor because it was true, but they were basically Bad Boy Records, which obviously was owned by Puff, and like Biggie was like the main artist on there, and then they had the Locks, and they had Little Kim, and I don't think Mace had started with Bad Boy yet. If you are wondering what the hell this old man is talking about, by the way, these were hip hop artists back in the day, as in actual hip hop and rap artists and like freestylers and this, that, and the other, not this synthesized techno hip hoppy shit that we have now from the likes of Travis, whatever his name is, Travis Unicorn. I don't know what his name is. Sorry if I've just insulted all of the youth of today, by the way, but I'm sorry, but like some of the hip hop I hear now, I mean, it is the drizzling shit basically. Anywho, doodle. There was always a rumor that Puff Daddy had a hand in what happened to Tupac, basically, and I kind of took this to heart, and I never liked that bloke. His explanation for what he was doing there that night, highly suspect, highly suspect. Never believed a word that he said. Yeah, and I just think he's a giant. Well, for want of a better phrase, I think the bloke's a giant arsehole. And I mean, I'm sorry again. I'm gonna go from cool old hip hop head to very boring dad now. But as a father, what a piece of shit. I mean, I don't care what you call them. Everyone can laugh and go, he calls them freak offs, that's hilarious. It ain't funny. Do you see me laughing? It ain't funny. It's not funny for young girls, young women, young men in some cases, by the way, if you haven't had a chance to educate yourself in it, children we're talking about, to be basically sex trafficked at these. I'm not going to describe what goes on in those parties. I'm sure you've read the same thing I have. I mean, it's absolutely effing disgusting. I don't find it remotely amusing whatsoever, and the bloke serves the rest of his life behind bars because he's a scumbag. Yes. Anyway, this wrestling show's going really, really well. Sorry, folks. I will get back onto it in a minute because I'm going to talk about it as well. Let's have a look. I saw the goal as good as as good as Bowden. As good as Bowden. Oh yeah. He's in the young lad. Yeah. Well, Celtic just saw the goals. If you pull this back, great comeback after your terrible season. Cheers. Like and subscribe. Oh, thank you again. Yeah. How many goals are you scoring against Spurs? Well, I've just answered that question, Elijah. I've just answered that question. Like I said, I don't particularly think we will even win the match. Like I said, look, I suffer from GAD and anxiety and depression, as most of you guys know, and I'm very glass, well, literally half that. I'm not the best person to ask for Liverpool predictions. I don't think I've actually said we're going to win a football match since about 1993, to be honest. So I'm not the best person to ask, but no, this season, we just can't be relied on, Elijah, and I just don't. Look, when I have my Sunday dinner, by the way, guys, I'm going to give you a pro tip here. Any of you with mothers, make sure you've got your presents and your card. And if you haven't, go to the garage now, basically, or the local off license, or anywhere that's open, and buy the cards. And if you're thinking, please don't tell me he's on about Mother's Day, that is exactly what I'm telling you about, because I nearly got caught out with that today as well. Fortunately, the wife's done, and my mother, hopefully she's not watching. Hi, Mom, if you are watching. If you are watching, Mommy, yes, yours was done weeks and weeks ago, as was the wife's, obviously. But yeah, pro tip, if you have forgot, especially lads watching this, by the way, because women watching this, like, will have had things wrapped up in bouquets and wonderful little cards that are written out in, like, calligraphy and, like, hieroglyphics and so on and so forth, for, like, the last 17 bloody months or something like that, whereas blokes like me are just like, oh no, it's bloody tomorrow. So, yes, make sure you've got something for your mum. Shout out to all the mums out there as well. In fact, happy Mother's Day in the UK, because it is, wow, it's 10 to 1 in the morning. Why is it 10 to 1 in the morning for? I've not even got halfway through my wrestling thing yet. 4 hours sleep for me. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Geek Boy Meta, Hugh Bartholomew, what the F? I'm assuming that's meant to be ironic. Yeah, anyway. I mean, it is 1:45. Obviously, people have been to the pub at this point. Let's have a look. Yeah, St. Pauli, Chris Strachan. How you doing, Chris, again? St. Pauli Celtic fans. No, Johan. No, no. Not unless you want the entire planet to blow up and us all to be floating around in space, which is where this is heading under that douchebag. Let's have a look. Chat Russell, I'm taking. Nice, nice, lovely. Well, we have hit. Yeah, I was going to say, folks, it's 10 to 1. We've hit the. Yeah. I'm assuming we've hit the weed crowd. Yes. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Yeah, reckons 2-0. Hopefully. How much have Liverpool spent load shite bag embarrassing? Thanks, Christian. Well, put it this way, Christian. The sensationalist right-wing gobshite media would have you believe that we've spent £400 net and probably bought another 7 or 8 players that don't exist, which I mean, it's just not remotely true. Basically, if you have a look at because I do quite a bit on, not myself personally, but I look into the club finances as much as I can do, and I mean, it's not even close to that amount. We made something in the region of £220 million in player sales. Our overall spend was 400 million, which is, don't get me wrong, shit pile of money. But our actual net spend was 180 million, which again is still a lot of money. But if you take it all the way back, there have literally been 3 transfer windows, as in your summer transfer window, where we've signed 2 players. One was Chiesa, possibly another one was Elliott with maybe a reserve goalkeeper thrown in. I forget which. Basically, long story short, those transfer windows came to something in the region of £40. £40? But yeah, I could buy it for that. 40 million quid, which buys the inside leg measurement of a Manchester City fullback. You know what I mean? So, yeah, all this shit about Liverpool spent so much money here. Well, no, the club is run like an actual business, not like a however the hell that weirdo that runs Nottingham Forest runs them. By the way, he's a weird bastard, isn't he? What's his name? Is Sakarakis. See what I did there. Let's have a look. Glory, glory, Man United. Oh no, 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 no pure football. No, thank you. Let's have a look. Andy Robertson coming back to Celtic, should be starting with Liverpool. Oh, Chris, you are preaching to converted. Swig a beer for Andy Robertson. I love that bloke. I love that bloke. And when I thought he was going to Tottenham, this is really embarrassing. But I'm not going to lie about it, just because I love Robbo so much. Do you know, the reason I love him, Chris, is because he's a working class lad done good. And I always like to hear stuff like that. And I mean, it's not an act or anything. I mean, obviously, Robbo literally had bugger all money. He was on his arse before he got that. I want to say he got his moves to Queen's Park after he got released from. Because I think he had trials at Celtic, didn't they? So I've read his autobiography, and I think there was the Celtic people were saying he was too small, something along them lines. That bloke he's worked his bollocks off to get to where he is now, and he is the best left back that Liverpool Football Club, in my time at least, have ever had by an absolute country mile. Like a lot of us, I do like best ever 11s of our own football teams, and yeah, Andy Robertson is Liverpool's best ever left back in my personal team, in my opinion. He's been superb recently as well, by the way, absolutely superb. So I hope the club keep him on. To be honest, I'd be more than happy with him and Kirkes, like alternate. I mean, I actually think there's a case for pushing Kirkes a bit further forward, to be honest. I mean, he's that fast, he's that quick, and he's that good with a ball. I do wonder whether Liverpool are missing a trick with Kirkes. I mean, maybe Robertson could do like what was his name? He used to play for Chelsea. I can never pronounce his name. Is it Astelaqueta? Astelaqueta. You know the one I'm on about, the Spanish lad who went back to. Is he still at Atletico? Actually, I forget now, but he played all them games for Chelsea. I'm sure he started off as a fullback, but they ended up dropping him back. I think Andy Robertson positionally is brilliant, absolutely. But I mean, obviously, if he goes up against the like of Bukayo Saka, obviously he's going to be in lots of trouble because Bukayo Saka is like Grease lightning, isn't he? So, so he's going to struggle against pace. But if you put him as part of a back three, for example, where he's got a bit of protection from his fullbacks, and then if you have Verge controlling things in the middle, or when Verge has gone, obviously, so you've got Leone and Jacque, if he's ever not injured. You could possibly pull Robertson and have him tuck it in a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, I would like Andy Robertson to retire with Liverpool selfishly, but I know he still wants to play, and he goes my blessing. But the embarrassing thing I was going to say, Chris, I actually heard the news, so I went out to do a YouTube show. Finished saying it, and I actually had a little tear that came down my cheek, and it was bloody big, huge blokes walking past where I work, going, "You all right, lad?" I was like, "Andy Robertson's leaving." But yes, no, I'm not gonna lie. I was absolutely gutted when I heard about that. But yeah, no, good luck to Robbo. I agree with you. I think he could still play at the highest level, and if that's what he wants to do, whoever it is getting fantastic. I mean, I think he has spoken about wanting to maybe one day go to Celtic, who I'm assuming would be delighted for Andy Robertson to come. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a Celtic fan, so maybe not. But no, he's yeah, what a man, what a player. Michael Carrick. Now was meant to be a penalty day. Oh right, Elijah. No, because I started watching Match of the Day. In fact, let me just put my YouTube on in the background. I just want to see if there's any stuff that I can just put on in the background that doesn't make any noise. Will Spurs be relegated? The overlap. Nope, not going to put that on. Let's have a look. What's on my library? I was going to say, in fact, I'm going to have to wrap this up shortly, and I've not even told you about the wrestling yet. Nope, nothing's coming up. Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Bayern boys were Prost. I hated him for hits and biggie. Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Harlem World, Mace New. Yep. Yeah. You seek. Has everyone been drinking tonight? There's some very, very, very odd comments. Am I a Sikh? Or has someone mistyped you suck? I'm very confused. I'm very, very confused. No to both of them, by the way. Stick Trump in his box. I wouldn't even put him in a box yet, to be honest. In fact, because I don't want to lose my chance of monetization, I will leave it to the imagination as to what I would have done with that gentleman. Yes, I hope Spurs get relegated. Well, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah, I would not be surprised. I think they're in serious trouble. I didn't realise up until a couple of weeks ago, because people kept saying that Spurs were down there, and I was like, like when someone's having a terrible season, but they're about 9 or 10 points clear of the relegation zone. You're like, whatever, they only need 2 more wins. And I just, because Tottenham have been on, I don't know, I think they got to. I'm sure they got to about 27 points about 3.5 months ago, something daft like that. So I didn't even give it a moment's thought. Then I looked and I was like, oh no, they're actually. In fact, that's what I was going to check. Yes, there was a reason I went on BBC Sport. I want to know. Have West Ham actually gone level now with Spurs? Oh, also I was meant to put this stream on Reddit, which I haven't done. Yeah, cool, nice one. Might just do that quickly now, actually. Let me have a look. Football. I'm just looking on BBC Sport. Tables. Let's have a look. Tottenham are. The locals as well, because I live in Leeds. I don't think the locals are going to be hugely impressed with that either. Right, for anyone who's interested, by the way, Nottingham Forest 28, West Ham 29, Tottenham 29, Leeds 31. Crikey. That's mental. Well, I mean, it'll be good for Tottenham because they'll be up to 32 points when they win at Anfield tomorrow. And like I said, I'm not joking. I'm just having a 5 foot swivel. Tyler Andy, who you support? The Mighty Reds. Hello, Chris again. Right, guys. For the people listening on podcasts, because this will turn into a podcast. Right, folks, I'm just going to go through the rest of the wrestling stuff now. Then I'll come back to the comments, I promise. But I'm just conscious of the fact, I'm conscious of the fact as well, for some reason, that I'm losing the ability to talk. I think I've got some sort of bloody cold that's developed, which is not cool. So yes, please just bear with me 1 second, and I will just go through the rest of the wrestling. Obviously, guys, you know what these podcasts and shows are like. I just go from one thing to another. So be yes. Where did I get to? We had the Bellas. Moving on, because I'm not a fan of this. Yeah, and there was this whole thing with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss versus Nia and Lash Legend, who are called the Immovable Objects. That's the one. Thought the match was fine, nothing particular to write home about, and then the Bellas managed to get themselves involved and basically get Charlotte and Bliss disqualified. And for some reason now those two are the number one contenders. Um, because they talked to Nick Aldis about it, which seems very strange and weird. I mean, I'm assuming we are heading to maybe, I would guess we're probably looking at a four corners tag team match, because then you can get eight lots of women. You can get eight of the girls in the match. So I'm guessing the immovable objects, the Bellas, Charlotte and Alexa, and maybe Julia and Kiana. By the way, she was really, really good, by the way. Shout out to Kiana James. Again, I will hold my hands up. I got that one very, very wrong. I was not a fan of Miss James at all, but I think she's done some excellent work the last 5 weeks. So shout out to her. Keep it up. The Damien Priest and R-Truth random tag team keeps rolling on. They beat Los Garza, who are an established tag team of several years standing, and they've now just lost to Damien Priest and R-Truth. I would be pissed if I was them, to say the least about that. Danhausen and The Miz, you are cursed. The Miz is now officially cursed because Danhausen basically put a curse on him, and then he ended up getting knocked out by Jelly Roll. By the way, like I said, not just because he's a Trump fan. Please, again, can we please give that a rest? It's like he's world famous. If you said that to someone in England, what do you think of Jelly Roll? You are probably going to get a sarcastic response on the lines of, "I prefer a Swiss roll myself, lad." Like that, I can pretty much guarantee as an Englishman, if you don't know wrestling and you're some fella off the street, there will be probably about 5% of people in this country, and that's pushing it, who wouldn't even know that Jelly Roll exists. And WWE basically treated him like, it is kind of like, because obviously WWE, I'm not going to go into politics, obviously WWE are Team Trump. Obviously because the McMahons are Republicans and Linda McMahon's in the Senate and blah blah blah, and Vince and Trump are best mates and so on and so forth. It is kind of like they are trying to like get their own MAGA sponsored musician and get him over via WWE, and I appreciate the fact he's a Grammy winning artist and all that. I'd never heard of the fella. I couldn't have told you he was in a police line up until about a year ago. So yeah, and it just makes the Miz look stupid at the end of the day. And like Kit Wilson running out the ring as well, like against some fella who looks like he's been in the ale house. He looks like Jelly Roll basically looks like me. He don't look quite that bad because I'm a huge giant fat man, but he looks like he's been in the ale house and then gone for a couple of kebabs afterwards. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, why are we having this fella coming in and knocking out professional wrestlers? It's just bloody stupid, basically. What else did we have? We had Tiffy Time, who is being I'm assuming she's been turned heel on purpose, but like she's been having this thing with Chelsea Green, who at the moment she's broken her foot, I think. Chelsea Green is like super over now at basically Tiffany Stratton's expense, just because she's in a wheelchair and just acting the goat, basically. And don't get me wrong, Chelsea Green is a very talented woman, and she is legitimate. Chelsea Green reminds me of Mrs. Meta. She is just unintentionally hilarious. I mean, I think Chelsea Green is possibly potentially one of the funniest women that I've ever met. Well, not met her, but seen. I mean, there have been some times, some things she's done where I've literally been in hysterics, in actual hysterics. She's just a very funny young woman, basically. But she's kind of getting herself over at Tiffany Stratton's exit. I've said this for weeks. I'm possibly half a year now. Tiffany Stratton is not a babyface. She's a heel, and she's a very good heel as well. And it just seems like we're being a bit force fed at the minute. I just don't. Yeah, I just don't buy her as a babyface. But yes, Kiana James in that match again, excellent, absolutely excellent. And I'm assuming at some stage they're going to have to split her and Julia, because I mean Kiana James was meant to be Julia's heater. and it's completely fit the script now. So I don't know what they're going to do from this point. Match of the night: Trick Williams versus Jacob Fatu. In fact, sorry folks, let me just get this beer down a minute. Do you know what? I want to get myself another. Let me just get my cool bag. Yes. What was it? Oh, yeah. So, Trick Williams versus Jacob Fatu was an excellent match. I would like to see them two go at it again. Ideally, I thought it was really, really good. Trick Williams he's mustard, absolute mustard. He is the dogs. You know what? What a guy! Absolute legend of a wrestler. He's got the look. He's got the promo skills. His wrestling's top draw. He's just a phenomenon. Absolutely phenomenal. Sorry, AJ Styles. Wonderful performer. I am starting to wonder whether if WWE shouldn't have just pulled the trigger and have have Trick higher up the card in WrestleMania. I hope they give him something to do at Mania that's worthwhile, because he's absolutely brilliant. WWE need to make sure they do not mess this up, because they've got an absolute bona fide superstar on their hands there. He is, just incredible. I thought the match against Fatu was excellent, really enjoyed it. And then Drew unretired himself. Yes, turns out Drew has not retired from the WWE. He was just playing possum and basically attacked Jacob Fatu. And then you'd think they were going to have a match at WrestleMania, right? Wrong. Because they are having their match next week, which with 5 weeks to go till WrestleMania, it's like, well, why would you give away a WrestleMania match? It does make me wonder whether those two could end up in a multi-match. I think there's going to be a multi-match, because you've got Sami Zayn is at a loose end. You've got Priest, who I mean, maybe he's going to be a truth, I don't know. You've got the members of the Judgment Day, unless it's going to end up being Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. You've got who else have I just said? Dragunov. You've got Carmelo Hayes. You've got all these people, and at some stage it's like, well, they're going to have to get all the. And I don't think you could throw them into an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, if I can say the word. Because they usually have that on Friday Night Smackdown anyway. But funnily enough, I think last year they started using. I think last couple of years actually, they've started using SmackDown as the official start to the weekend for a, which I mean, obviously it is. And then they do the Hall of Fame. Or was it the Hall of Fame first last year and then SmackDown? I forget, but yeah, it's like they have some sort of WrestleMania matches on the Friday Night SmackDown. I don't know what they're going to do, but they are going to have to. I mean, like I said, they need to plan for Drew. I mean, there's LA Knight as well. I mean, what's he doing? You know, the Vision. What are they doing? To be honest, if I was WWE at the minute, because it looks like a bit of a mess for a lot of them guys, I would honestly think about having something like a ladder match for either a bonus Money in the Bank, or just have it for the number one contender ship for, I don't know, maybe the IC title, or maybe like maybe like the first shot at whoever wins the Universal title, like Punk and Roman, something on them lines. I don't know, but they're gonna have to do something anyway. And then obviously we have that turn. So Cody Rhodes, as Finn was saying earlier, no, Finn did not say this. Randy Orton, as Finn was saying earlier, is now a heel. Or is he? Because I wrote about this on my Substack, and basically, I don't know if it was just me, but everyone in that arena looked like they were chanting for Randy Orton, and this isn't when Randy first came out, because that's fully understandable. people were cheering on Randy Orton beating the living crap out of Cody Rhodes, and that should not have been the intention of that segment. Like, in terms of babyface sympathy, that has not helped Rhodes at all, and he's on this very bad run at the minute of not getting sympathy from the likes of Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre. The way he spoke to Sami Zayn kind of makes him look like a dick as well. And I've wrote about this in my Substack. I don't know if it's a thing with Cody himself. I think Cody Rhodes comes across as a highly articulate, very, very nice, kind, decent young man, who has worked his arse off and he's someone to be admired. However, I'm a 46-year-old man. When I was 18, I wanted to see Stone Cold Steve Austin flip people off, give people stunners, and drink beer and stand on people's cars, throwing Steve Weisers down his neck. And you had a classy bloke like Bret Hart, who was his opponent, who I at the time said was a boring old man, basically. And obviously, I know since that Bret Hart is one of the finest professional wrestlers of all time, but at the time, I didn't give a toss about that. Maybe that's the case here and now as well. Maybe people are sick of Cody and they want him to turn heel. I kind of get it. If that's the case, I can get where people are coming from, because I mean, technically, Cody now has been a babyface for 7 years. Because if you include his time at AEW, which would have started, what, 2019 if AEW started? Yeah, because it was just over 6 years ago. 6 or 7 years ago. 6, 7, yes, I know. And I don't think he's done a heel turn in all that time. She's talking this is the better part of a decade. I don't know how many times he worked heel on the indies. I'm not too sure. But yeah, maybe that's the reason people are getting sick of it. I don't know. Either way, the turn from Randy was excellent. Really, really good. So, yeah, that's basically your Smackdown wrap up, folks. After 92 minutes, sorry that took so long, but I like having a chat with all my friends on here, so that's fun. Well, not that they were all friends, there were some weird, very weird people on the stream this evening, and it's getting quite late now, so I'm going to relieve myself of those weird people. Just very quickly, folks, I did say I was just going to go very briefly over AEW. I'm just going to keep this brief because, like I said, I am actually, I shouldn't be admitting this being a quote-unquote YouTuber. I'm pretty tired, to be honest. I need to go to bed. So. But just very quickly, I'll just go for anything interesting on AEW Dynamite. Obviously, we had the whole chance of fuck Don Callis and fuck Ice too. Shout out to San Jose for that and all the AEW fans. And all I can keep saying is keep going it, keep going it, keep going it. We can't let these people. We can't let these people win, because what they're doing in America is an absolute disgrace, and there are utter and complete falling Richard heads who want that brought over here. I don't want that shit in my country at all, and the certain political groups and politicians in this country who are trying to get that over, to use wrestling parlance, which they should be absolutely effing ashamed of themselves. So yeah, you keep shouting, fuck Don Callis and fuck Ice too. Very quick shout out actually. Do you know what, on Dynamite? I wish I'd talked about this instead of bloody Smackdown, to be honest. It was a really, really good show. Can I just say, shout out to Speedball Mike Bailey. That was an excellent match against Kyle Fletcher. Some of the moves that Speedball pulled off were absolutely incredible. I mean, that bit where he jumped onto the rope and then flipped himself backwards was insane. Absolutely incredible. So yeah, shout out to those two lads. That was really good. Brody King breaking the chains against Swerve Strickland, and also getting chance of fuck Ice during the Brody King match. That was very, very cool. Looking forward to those two having a match. I am a big fan of Brody King, and I'm also a massive fan of Swerve Strickland, so I've got skin in the game for both, so I win either way. But yeah, I'm looking forward to those two. That should be really good. There's a lady called Perfesoni. I can't pronounce her name. You probably know what I'm on about. She wrestled Willow Nightingale. I think she's from CMLL. Excellent match. Perfesoni. I can't pronounce her name. She was really, really good. I look forward to seeing more of that young lady. Also, as well, like I said, there were really, really good matches actually. Tommaso and FTR versus the Bucks, and Dem Boys, shout out. That was really good. Just absolute violent nonsense, basically. I also really enjoyed Dave Finley's debut with Gabe Kidd versus Orange Cassidy and Darby Allen. I really like Cass and Allen together. I think they're really, really cool. And there was also Takeshita refusing to hit John Moxley with a steel chair. What else happened on Dynamite? Oh, there was that ridiculous press conference thing. I think that got booed in the arena, actually. I'm not totally sure. Because they did like this live press conference, and you suddenly realise the press conference area was joined onto the arena, and I'm just like, is that really necessary? That bit was a bit odd. But look, Hangman is not winning the title of MJF. So what they're going to do with him going forward, I don't know. Because if Hangman can't challenge for the title, no, I spoke about this a while ago. To be honest, to be fair, Hangman Adam Page, like AEW have got a lot of people that they need to make world champions. Swerve's going to have it for a little bit. MJF's going to have it for at least 6 or 7 months. Ospreay's going to have to be AEW world champion, and I'm sure that they'll give him the belt at AEW All In. I think Brody King's getting to the point where he's undeniable. He's going to have a run with the belt at some point. So there's enough for Hangman to sort of do, but him not being in contention for the world title, I just don't know what they're gonna do with him initially. I mean, maybe they could have him in a feud with Joe, who might still like have not forgiven him for what happened with the 4-way match that they had or something. I don't know. Look, I'm sure that they can book themselves out of it, but like I don't know, maybe MJF will give Hangman the chance to get rid of that stipulation one day or something. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. So good. Has anyone seen the Lanterns trailer, by the way? I'm just looking at my playlist, stuff that I'm going to watch afterwards. And there appears to be a Lanterns trailer, which is pretty cool. Also, as well, shout out to the Toxic Spider Tekla. So, one or two of you may have seen on my socials that I am basically in love with this woman, but like platonic, for her wrestling and nothing else. Tekla is amazing. Absolutely amazing young woman. I haven't been excited about a pro wrestler for very, very, very long time. Especially in the debut, when she made a debut in AEW, I think she's superb, absolutely brilliant. And Tekla, as we speak, should be wrestling about now because, like I said, it's 1 in the morning now, and I'm very conscious of the fact I need to go to bed any second, really. But yeah, no, shout out to Tekla, and good luck to her against Statlander. Like I said, I do like Chris Statlander, but Tekla is, yeah, she's the dogs, basically. Absolute mustard. With that being said, folks, I'm very quickly going to run you through AEW Revolution. Just to let you guys know that I will be watching it. I can't watch it live, sadly, because... Why can't I watch it live? Oh, yeah, I've got to go to that place that give you money and work. And with it finishing at 4 o'clock in the morning and me doing work at 8:30... yeah, that's not going to happen, basically. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and come back here for about 4:30 on, excuse me. I'm going to try and come back here for about Monday afternoon, maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock. Order the pay-per-view, watch it, give all my reaction. And then I'm going to try and do a live stream on Monday, probably about AEW Revolution. and I'll do some bits and pieces on Liverpool and so on and so forth, as I usually do. As you've seen from the stream, it's a bit chaotic. But yes, I will be watching Revolution. Speaking of Revolution, I'll just go through the matches that I can find at the minute. So we've got Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong versus the Dogs, which obviously is Gabe Kidd, Clark Cassidy, and David Finlay. I'll go with the Dogs because obviously they are going to try and push him over as a new faction. Bandido versus Andrade. I am looking forward to that so much. I love Bandido. I think he is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed his work. I will go with Andrade to win that one, however. Brody King versus Swerve Strickland. Swerve needs to win. It's going to be a really good match. It's going to be a violent match, but I'll just go with Swerve to win that one, I think. Everyone banned from ringside. Tony Storm versus Marina Shafir. Tony Storm gave a very interesting promo the other day where she was just like, when all this is over, I want my world title back. Now, I think we can take it as read. They need to legitimise Tekla and give her some challenges to put to the sword. If they give Tekla Tony Storm and Tekla goes over on Tony Storm, then she's a made woman, basically. Whether she would go over Tony Storm, I don't know. I hope she does because she's just absolutely bloody brilliant. I'm going to go with Tony Storm to win that one. Trios Championship, we've got Okada, Fletcher and Mark Davis versus Mystico and Jet Speed. I think the Don Callis family retains because obviously they want more gold. I'd imagine that stable at the end is going to have like every single belt going, you would have thought. The Babes of Wrath versus Mega Bane and Lena Cross. Maybe Bane and Cross, possibly, I'm not too sure. Here's where it gets interesting. Tekla versus Statlander. I am hoping and praying it's going to be Tekla. I'm actually going to be legitimately gutted if she loses a strap straight away. But yeah, we'll just go with Tekla. I think John Moxley versus Takeshita. I think Takeshita goes over. FTR versus the Young Bucks for the World Tag Team Championships. I'm probably again going to go with FTR, you know, to be honest. How many heels and how many faces? I always overbook this whenever I do my predictions. I always give like 6 wins to like the heels and about 2 wins to the baby faces. Same thing with this. The main event is obviously MJF versus Hangman and Page. I just got. I mean, the only other thing that they can do, the stipulation says, if Page loses, he cannot wrestle for the world title again. I wonder if AEW could get away with saying he's been disqualified because, or a count out or something like that, or a time limit draw or something. But then against Texas Death, there shouldn't really be any stipulations on Texas Death. I'm probably overthinking this really, but I don't think Hangman Adam Page has got a hope in hell of winning that title, to be honest. But yes, no, I'm really looking forward to Revolution. If you've not seen it before, folks, AEW Revolution, it's basically either their SummerSlam or WrestleMania, whatever you want to call it, basically. But Revolution's usually really good. The one that they had with Sting last year was absolute mustard. Really, really good. I'd thoroughly recommend anyone to watch it. Like I said, I'm looking forward to Brody and Swerve. That should be good. My God, Tekla versus Stat. I'm looking forward to. Marina versus Tony Storm actually should be really good. I reckon those two women are going to tear the house down. Obviously, Paige and Hangman goes without saying. I watched Hangman and MJF at Forbidden Door at the O2. Absolutely brilliant professional wrestling match. Bloody brilliant. Yeah, really looking forward to it. like I said, I'm absolutely gutted that I can't watch it live, because I thought it was going to be on Saturday night, so I thought I would now be watching it right now. Sadly, that's not the case, unfortunately. And I will be watching it on Monday night instead, which means I have to go a whole day without my social media, which isn't helpful for the other things that I cover, but there you go. That's pretty much it, folks, to be honest. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll go back to the comments in just 1 second. I'm just going to do the blurb, basically, just to make you guys aware, because I'm conscious of the fact that I've listed the live reaction for Tottenham Liverpool tomorrow for what time did I put? I think it's about 10:30 I put. It has just occurred to me that I am in fact going to be doing Mothering Sunday tomorrow. I'm not totally sure in that case if it is going to be a late show. This might have to be possibly just after the game's finished. If not, potentially Monday. So just leave that one with us. I could probably still do it on the night, but it might be very obscenely late, because I'm not sure what time we're getting finished, but I could end up being on at something like 11:30, but I appreciate obviously that's very late for people, jobs, going to work and all that business. But leave it with us and I'll have a think about it. In terms of stuff coming up next week then, so like I said, I'll be doing AEW Revolution, and anything else that I want us to talk about, basically. On the Monday night, Tuesday, for once Liverpool aren't playing, yay! So I can have Monday Night Raw, late night reaction show on Monday. Sorry, Tuesdays it's usually meant to be. Sunday, not Sunday, Wednesday, it's Liverpool Galatasaray, the second leg, so obviously we're 1-0 down, so we are in huge squeaky bum time now. I think I'm going to the gym that day, so there's a chance I might be there for like the second half, which means there's also a chance that I could potentially do a live reaction from town. Now, those of you who've been watching me recently will know that I've been going around Leeds City Centre in the middle of the night, which makes me sound like a weirdo, but it's actually been quite good, actually. Just being out in the fresh air and people are going, oh, your city looks nice, and so on and so forth. But yeah, possibly that might be a thing on Wednesday, I'm not too sure. Thursday will be AEW Dynamite Reaction. Friday, I hope, will be Toy Shorts Friday. However, the Toy Shorts Friday franchise part of the group is getting a little bit fraught, because I'm running out of toy shorts, basically. Severely running out of toy shorts. So yes, if I do, you're going to have to leave that one with us. Put it this way, the thing that my mate Finn was asking me to do with getting all my wrestling figures out might have to be very, very soon, basically. So yeah, that would be Friday, Toy Shots Friday. Saturday will be the late night Smackdown reaction show, which is the one you're watching now. I want to say we're playing Brighton Saturday, so I'll probably run twice on Saturday, I would have thought, unless that is on the Sunday, I'm not too sure. And then after that, obviously, it's the international break, and there will be like bugger all football worth mentioning, basically. Yeah, and that's it for next week. In terms of what cool things that are coming up, the Liverpool Dortmund Legends match is a week on Saturday, so there'll be full coverage on this channel, so videos and hopefully a live stream, loads of shorts and this, that and the other. So you watched me do my vlogs before, so you know what how all of that works, basically. Right, guys, I don't know if you can tell, by the way, I can feel my eyes going. I desperately need to go and get some food before I go to sleep. But yes, I think it's time for me to draw to a close. So thanks everyone for watching. I'm just going to check if I've missed any comments. Oh, I have missed comments. Oh, sorry, folks. Yes, I've been waffling on to myself for like an hour, haven't I? Let's have a look. Meta, I'm off. Tell Mrs. Meta I brought Lego World Cup at the airport. Oh, nice one. Have a lovely keep and day, everyone. Night. Oh, good night. Yeah, I'm sorry that I've missed you. Yeah, thank you again for all your support. You're an absolute star. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Genuinely. Absolutely wonderful human being. Pint of beer. You look 25. I wish I was Javid 25. Sadly, you would need to add a further 21 years onto that total. There we go. Something then, almighty truck. Is that the 6-7 symbol against my... Can someone, by the way, can someone tell me what this symbol thing is? I don't actually know what it means. I'm an old man, I've got no idea. Wow, I heard Hulk Hogan is dead. Is that true? Yes, he's definitely dead. Let's have a look. Mike, yes, Hulk Hogan is definitely dead, Mike. He died... Oh, God, now you're asking. 6 months ago? Possibly. It was before Christmas. I think I'd just gone back to... I believe I'd just gone back to work. Yeah, no, it's about 6 months ago, mate. Maybe 7 months ago. Something on them lines, anyway. Hey, Logan, how you doing, mate? You're all right. Sorry, I've only just got to your point, Logan. I'm so happy that Randy Orton has gone back to being the killer he should be. I agree, Logan. So again, cheap plug. I've actually wrote about that on my Substack. Do you know what? It's a bit weird actually because I kind of like the place Randy was in that, like, this is nice Randy Orton that we've never really seen before. Like, confident in his promo skills, he's still the legend killer, but he's having a bit of fun with the crowd. And maybe it's just Orton himself. Maybe he's just like, do you know what? I've had a good time, but it's time for me to be legend killer again. And maybe that's where he's just like, right, I want to turn heel. And I'm sure Cody jumped at the chance because those two are like, look, and obviously I know they battered Randy battered the living crap out of Rhodes last night. Trust me, these two lads are like the best of friends for a shoot, an absolute shoot. They are like proper best friends. So I'm sure they were really looking forward to working with each other. Do you know what? I'm looking forward to the programme. It should be really, really good. Because obviously those two are technically brilliant. I just wonder... I think you are looking for Cody. Let's go Cena. Cena sucks. We are in that sort of realm because, like, there were thousands of boos last night and thousands of cheers when Rhodes was getting hit by chairs and all sorts. Look, if their plan is not to turn Cody into Homelander, I don't think there's much longer they can hold off from 3-4. I really, really don't, because like the crowd won't hate him. But obviously the kids make the ones that buy the merch. I don't mean that disrespectfully towards Cody. Look, at the end of the day, I used to be pissed off about that sort of thing with Cena 15 years ago, but I was in my mid-20s then. Obviously, you grow up, and obviously, I don't want to be awful, folks, and I'm sure there are young people that know this as well. But at the end of the day, this is a business. It's fun, and it's fun for all of us to watch, but it is a business that people make money on. And one of the main sources of money is from merch sales. And Cody Rhodes is an absolute license to print money for, and again, it's not being rude to him, for like the 6 to maybe 17-year-old bracket, if that's even a thing. And fair play to Cody as well for that. He deserves that money. Go and get it, lad. But yeah, it's just very, let's go Cena sucks, for me. But yeah, no, the program itself should be really, really good. Um, I'm glad Orton is a bad guy again. Yeah, like I said, Logan, it should be really good because Randy Orton's one of the best bad guys of all time. He is like, yeah, I mean, he's just super. And the thing is now, he's now added that promo. I never thought that Randy had the best promo in the world, but um, I think his work on his promos the last 3, 4 years has been outstanding. You could probably make a case for he's one of the best promos in the business now. Um, yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to the match. It should be really good. Taker, yep, no, absolute legend. I agree. BM, absolute legend. I have a lot of respect for Mark Calloway. Um, Taker, obviously, a lot of respect for him, for what he's done for the business. He's an outstanding man, an outstanding human being. I don't agree with his politics. It goes without saying, but if we take that aside and we are just purely talking wrestling, then yeah, he's Taker is Mount Rushmore level. I mean, it's subjective, obviously, because some people go on the best promos, some people go on the best wrestling, some people go on who made the most money. I mean, my Mount Rushmore's, I wouldn't say it's very, very different because mine's going to be quite similar to a lot of people. Mine is, for what it's worth, in no particular order, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, possibly Roddy Piper, just because I loved his promos. If Paul Heyman was a wrestler, I would put him in the top five. To- he's the best talker, manager, whatever you want to say, but best at promos and wrestling for me was always Roddy Piper, so I'd potentially have him in my top five. And then I love CM Punk. I don't know if I could put him in there yet, just obviously because there are people who have a massive body of work compared to. Don't get me wrong, Punk's been a wrestler for like nearly 25 years, probably more than that now. Yeah, I suppose at the moment it would probably be Punk, but then again, I'd love to put Bret Hart in it. I'd love to put Kurt Angle in it. Kurt Angle is just, he was incredible, absolutely incredible professional wrestler. Um, yeah, 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 we'll go with that. In fact, to tell you what, yeah, do you know what? I won't sit on the fence. I'll put CM Punk in mine. Be a bit controversial, you know what I mean? Funnily enough, Logan. CM Punk has the best promos. Yeah, yeah, like I said, like just personally for me, I still, because I'm older, still prefer Rowdy Roddy Pipers. But Punk's promos are just super. Then again, Punk also loves Roddy Piper as well. So if I was ever to meet CM Punk, he'd probably say fair play. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, yeah, cool. Right, folks. Like I said, you might be able to tell the eyes are going. I can feel my sleep apnea stuff coming on, so I'm going to bid you all a very good night. But that was very fun. Thank you for all joining me, and thank you for sitting with me for 2 hours. These live streams are getting better and better and better. We're getting good numbers on them, and yeah, the channel is going where it needs to go. So just thank all of you for supporting me. Um, and to those weird people, including that very strange man at the start. Um, to quote Doctor Strange, I'm protecting your reality, douchebag. There we go. Anyway, folks, yes, enjoy the rest of your Saturday night / Monday morning. I'm off to go and get the second half of the kebab, which I did not eat last night, which I'm thoroughly looking forward to. I'm going to break into this rum as well after all the beer, and then I'm going to go for a very long sleep. In fact, I'm not going to have a very long sleep because it's Mother's Day tomorrow, which means I'm going to have a very short sleep, but still. And like I say, lads, if you have forgotten Mother's Day, make sure you set your alarms and go and get your missus something, or your mother. This is your last warning, basically. But yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Shout out to all of you. Have a good night, man. You too, Logan. Thanks very much for coming on, Logan. Sorry that I wasn't on for too long, mate, when you came on. But yeah, you're a star, dude. Thank you, and you're always welcome. Cheers, man. Right then, guys. Happy Saturday, and I will see you all for Liverpool at some point tomorrow. Like I said, leave it with us. I'm not sure how tomorrow's going to work, but I will definitely be doing some form of live reaction to it. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.